Welcome once again to TonyWilliams.com. As I always say at the start of all my videos, I hope some of the materials that I'm able to share on this site would get an average person like myself going from a place of good to greatness as we strive to reconstruct ourselves and build a legacy for our future that is sustainable by our actions and would obviously last. Today I want to talk to you about a little book that I read that does so much magic for me, and it's called It Works. It's actually by a non-name author, by the way, because for whatever reasons he decided to keep his name secret, but he gave us some principles on how, as human beings, we are capable of acquiring anything that we want in life. And I do mean anything. To start with, he tells us about how we are made in the image of God, and as a being who's made in the image of God, we are many gods ourselves. That doesn't make us gods, but it makes us many gods. That means some of the power that He has, we also have. Maybe not the magnitude of his power, but just like a child would have some of the traits of his father or his mother, we have the traits of our Creator who made us in His own likeness. And it's funny because if you go along the scriptures, it also tells us somewhere along in John, I believe it is, that he who believes in me, truly I tell you, whoever believes in me also, the works that I'm doing, he will do, and he probably would even be able to do greater works than that. I didn't quote it exactly how it is, but I think those are the words. But basically, it's telling us that because we are, made in the likeness of God, we are capable as individuals to achieve and do greater works than we presume or that we limit ourselves to doing as individuals. So how do we do these things? How are we capable of making things that we want come into existence? As we know, we're inundated with readings and sayings and posts and motivational books that tell us that as an individual, whatever you believe in, you could achieve it. And but there are principles into making these things work. And some of the principles into how we could get exactly what we want is what I want to discuss with or talk to you about today. It has to start by being able to identify to the pin, and I actually mean to the pin, what we want. Because what we're going to be doing is when we identify these things that we want, it could be a cluster of things, but we have to be able to narrow it down. We want so many things in life. We want a better house, we want mighty cars, we want a beautiful lifestyle. We want all the good things that life could offer us as individuals. But unfortunately, we can't have all of it. But we can identify specifics that we want and begin to channel all our energy into acquiring those specific things that would give us fulfillment in life. And in order to do that, we use two parts of our minds. One which is our objective mind, which obviously just analyzes things and sees the things that we want and likes it, or sees the things that we want and identifies it, and wishes that we could have it. But then it transmits that energy, depending on how often we visualize it or how hard we work for it, to a subjective mind. Now that subjective mind, it's not within us, but it's the omnipotent presence of God around us, if I should put it that way. And it's subjective in a way that it doesn't take confused questions It doesn't take requests for things all over the place, but it would take specific requests from us, and it would work with us to make those specific requests come into existence. So, in order to do these, in order to do this, it's important that we plan, and that's why we hear this popular saying: "If we don't plan, we plan to fail." So we plan what we want, we plan for it, we begin to work towards it. We begin to consciously bring it into existence, even without seeing it. Our planning is the part where we begin to have faith in what we want. And as the Bible says, faith without works is dead. So we begin to have faith. Just by having faith, that means we believe. That faith is a form of belief that, oh, we can do this, we can acquire this, we can bring this into existence, we can make this happen. So we begin to plan it. But as much as we plan towards it, it has to be a visualized plan, a plan that is often seen or repeatedly seen until it begins to be sort of stamped into our objective minds. We might want to write it down. We might want to create vision boards. It could be a house. It could be a car. It could be a spouse. It could be anything you want in life. But you have to be exactly specific to identify exactly what you want. Not either this or that. There has to be no substitute. It has to be going for the kill. I want this or nothing else. And for that specific thing, obviously there could be alternatives of other things, like, oh, and then I want this, and then I want this, and then I want this. But for each thing that you want, it has to be specific to the pin. And then you plan it, you write it down. As you write it down, or create a vision board where you stick pictures up of it all around you. Not like you're going mad, but you're just imprinting it on your objective mind that this thing you want, come what may, I must get it. And then you begin to think about it. As you begin to think, so you have it written down, or you plan it, or you have it written down, or you have it on your vision board, and you begin to think about it. Then you begin to see this thing, you begin to believe. It creates a sort of identity in your mind that this thing, no matter how far it is, you can visualize it. And things you can visualize, if me and you agree on something here, it's things, even though you can't see, but because you visualize it, you believe you could touch it. It's created in your mind, which creates a belief for you. And for that little bit, that package there has to constantly be on your mind. You have to find a way of seeing it, or visualizing it, or writing it down writing it down and reading it every single day, as often as you can. Not one day should go by where you don't have a look at your vision board, or you don't write down your plan or your goal, and constantly it will even give you a reminder of how you have to constantly work towards these things, because you can't just be looking at it and just leave it abandoned. The more you look at it, the more your mind begins to create and open doors and bring avenues and create witty ideas of how you could make this happen. So you plan it, you begin to write it down, you create vision boards, you think about it, you read it, and then it eventually, over a period of time, would begin to come into shape. It would actually begin to come into shape. And also, it's important, whilst it's coming into shape, that you keep away skeptics, because you want your mind to be narrowed down to it. It could be, as I said, it could be anything, but you want your mind to be narrowed down to specifics. And you don't want your mind to keep fluttering away, or disbelieving in yourself, that what you believe in yourself that you could make happen, that you're unable to make it happen. So it's important to keep the right group of friends around, keep skeptics away, or even keep it secret, and just do your daily ritual, read, visualize it, think about it, work towards it, and just pray about it. And I could guarantee you, forces in your subjective mind, when they see that it's imprinted on your mind, it's something that you want, and you think about, they would go and fetch it. They would create ways to make it happen. It's all mysterious, but I could tell you, at that very point of your need, at that very point where you might just want to give up, at that very point where you think, oh, I can't go no further. If you've done everything to make it happen, I can guarantee you it would happen. Now that comes to the question where people might say, well, but people then give up, and why do people give up, or why do people, they continue to disbelieve? They just begin to disbelieve, or as I can say, they engage in disbelieving, or they stop believing in what they have, and that's why they give up. Because if you believe, even though it tarries, it will surely come to pass. And that's basically how it works. So you don't even have to worry about how it's going to work, because if you put all those things into place, you began to imprint it into your mind is constantly thinking about it, and it's thinking into the subjective, the omnipotent part of your mind, and that's gone out to fetch it. You just don't have to worry. All you have to do is keep it at the forefront of your mind. It's the same way you don't have to worry about how a seed goes into the ground, it dies, and it turns into a tree that bears fruit, and the fruit has so many seeds that's capable of doing exactly what that same one seed's done at the start of everything. You don't have to worry about how it does. All you have to do is play your part. Remember to be thankful at all stages along the line. Keep the belief, have it visualized and imprinted on your mind, and I can guarantee you those wants and those needs will surely be made manifest and come to pass. And that's all I have to talk to you about today. I try as much as possible to keep the videos as short as we could, but sometimes you just do get carried away, or sometimes I actually do get lost for words. But if you do have any ideas or anything you want me to discuss or talk about, feel free to drop me a mail. I think my mailbox is all on my contact details. And then we shall see you when we have something else to talk about. Thank you very much. Have a great day.